What's up, y'all? Talon here. Today I'm back with another series of ranked battles featuring top teams in the Regulation F metagame. Today I'm very excited to be sharing a rain team that got 15th place at the Portland Regionals. It was the highest finishing dedicated weather team. There was one Trick Room team that had a Torkoal on it, but for all intents and purposes, this is a super dedicated rain team, so I wanted to feature it just because I really do like rain teams. I think they're generally pretty popular with players as well as myself, so wanted to pilot on the ranked battle ladder as well as share the EV spreads, the rental code, which was shared by Look It Up, Eli Knowlton, the person who got 15th place with the team. I'll link his Twitter in the description below, along with the PokePaste and the rental code if you want to try the team on Pokemon Showdown or Battle Stadium. But with all that being said, if you appreciate the resource of these videos, the analysis on the team and the battles, please subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. And yeah, let's get into a breakdown of this team now. Starting with Archaludon, it's probably one of the cooler Pokemon that have been added to the Rain archetype. So you have the option to go for Electro Shot, which is a 130 base power electric move that raises your special attack by 1 before its usage. So usually you have to take a charge turn, but when you're in Rain, it basically skips that and just does everything in one turn. So that can boost up your Electro Shot for that turn, and then in successive turns, your Dragon Pulses are stronger. This Archaludon, interestingly, does not have any other special attack moves. It's opting for Body Press to combo off of its stamina ability. So whenever you're hit by a move, your defense stat raises up, which is just really good synergy. Basically, if you get a +1 defense boost, suddenly you're doing a ton of damage to Incineroar 2 at KOing that. If you get several, you're just like, at that point, you're kind of just ignoring your special attacks unless you have a really good reason to be going for those and just going for really powerful body presses. Heavy Slam is just an option specifically for Flutter main, being able to knock out that whenever it's on the field. If you're not intimidated, it is very good. I've seen some people opting for Hard Press just because Archaludon isn't that much heavier than some Pokemon in the metagame, but we've gone for Heavy Slam here just because it consistently does that 120 base power to Flutter main and takes that knockout without really any attack investment at all. Assault Vest is the item choice. I think that's one of the more common on Archaludon. Basically just boosting its weakest stat, which already isn't even that weak, but you invest a lot of special defense as well as the Assault Vest. You're able to take those special hits really well. And then lastly, we have a Terra Grass to be able to ignore Amoonguss, because outside of that, you are a little weak to Spore. You don't have a lot that can hit Amoonguss very quickly. So having the option to ignore that, especially on a rain team, which can kind of get walled by things like Amoonguss traditionally, just because you're trying to go for your strong water type moves. Well, obviously a bulky grass type is the main counter to that. So I do appreciate that Eli was going for trying to beat Amoonguss as well as he could on as many Pokemon as he could. So speaking of Amoonguss, we have this one, which is pretty standard. It is a Citrus Berry Amoonguss with really high defensive investment. And the main thing of note here is it is Terra Dark, trying to basically be able to bring it more consistently against Psychic spam matchups. So we're thinking the Armarouge Indeedis, the Armarouge Hatterines, and even the Armarouge Iron Crowns, the Indeedee Iron Crowns. Those are picking up as expanding force combos. But yeah, I do like the Terra Dark. Otherwise, you can kind of get swept pretty easily on this team by the expanding forces. Pelipper is of course your drizzle setter. On a rain team, you usually have the Pelipper or the Tornadus. Here we're opting for the passive rain setup with the drizzle, which I think is smart. Not having to waste a turn is definitely appreciated, and Pelipper has a lot of really cool tools in the metagame. The combination of Hurricane and Weather Ball does really well into most of the supports in the metagame. I'm thinking Entei, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Amoonguss all get chunked by that significantly. Weather Ball is getting close to a knockout on the fire types unless they're Assault Vest, and then Hurricane, if you go for Terra Flying, will take those knockouts on the Amoonguss and usually on the Assault Vest Rillaboom. I think it gets pretty close, but I'm not certain if it gets all the way there. And then we have Wide Guard, which is just very good utility. Opposing Flutter main can't lock into Dazzling Gleam, Sandsear Storms, Bleak Winds from Tornadus and Landorus, they can't go for so easily. Then lastly is a Tailwind, so basically trying to set up for your Baxalibur and your Urshifu, are just trying to match Tailwind against opposing teams, or against slower teams, getting the speed advantage for your slower Pokemon can also be pretty advantageous. Choice Scarf Urshifu Rapid Strike is your main rain sweeper here. We've opted for a Terra Poison, which is interesting. You need some defensive fallbacks on your offensive Pokemon, so I do like the Terra Poison. So the general idea is set up rain with the Pelipper, and then later in the game bring in the Urshifu once you've chipped down some Pokemon and sweep with Surging Strikes while protecting it with things like Amoonguss or Wide Guard from Pelipper. Baxalibur is interesting to see again on rain compositions. Looking back, Gavin Michaels took an international championship with a Dragonite Assault Vest plus Baxalibur with Clear Amulet, so really interesting to see the Baxalibur come back, now the Dragonite with Assault Vest replaced with the Archaludon, back to Double Dragon Rain, which is pretty cool. Just seeing the cyclical nature of these metagame adaptations has been pretty cool across Scarlet and Violet across multiple formats. So yeah, this is pretty much exactly the same set, I think. It is the Clear Amulet, Terra Poison, Thermal Exchange, Baxalibur. So you're hit by a fire type move, which, you know, they're not usually going to be going for in Rain anyways, but on the off chance, you do get a special, you do get a attack raise, which can be nice, and most notably not being able to get burned by like Entei's Sacred Fire is really appreciated. Terra Poison is just because like the main enemy for Baxalibur in previous metagames was Fluttermane. Now you kind of have to contend with the dragon types a bit, but at least being able to go to a neutral against the dragon types with the Terra Poison while also still dealing fairly well with Fluttermane's fairy type moves with the Terra Poison terrestrialization is appreciated, and then just attacking back with an Ice Skull Crash for big damage. Glaive Rush is of course really strong. The combination of Glaive Rush and then Ice Shard the next turn to get rid of the debuff of basically doubling damage into yourself after using Glaive Rush is always really good synergy, and the Baxalibur is in a pretty good speed spot right now where the Pokemon it needs to be Glaive Rushing, it is usually going to be slower than, and the Pokemon that it's faster than, it's going to be wanting to hit Ice Skull Crash for the most part. So I do like Baxalibur. I'm excited to try it out and see how it fits in this metagame. The last Pokemon is the Fluttermane. It is a booster energy speed Fluttermane with Terra Fairy, so kind of trying to get the best of both worlds of speed and power, mixing the speed booster energy and the Terra Fairy. So you can go for those really strong Terra Fairy Moonblast in later games. And then Shadow Ball is just good coverage, forcing Terras out of other Fluttermane basically. And then the Icy Wind pairs really nicely with Baxalibur. Basically able to go for an Icy Wind and get the drop on things that would otherwise outspeed you, and KO with Glaive Rush and Ice Skull Crash. This Fluttermane is trained a bit all over the place. Defensively, this Fluttermane is very tanky. It's able to take a Adamant Ice Spinner from Chien-Pao. Ice Skull Crash you aren't guaranteed to take, but it is a favorable roll. So I do like the Fluttermane on this team. I think it could surprise a lot of people with the Baxalibur and the speed stat of the Pelipper, just basically being able to go for the Icy Wind and then take surprise knockouts with those powerful, super effective moves in the metagame right now. I do like a lot. Overall, this is a really cool team. Once again, congratulations to Look It Up, Eli Knowlton for getting 15th place at Portland Regionals with this team. I'm excited to try it on the Rank Battle ladder. If you want to try the team for yourself on Battle Stadium or on the Pokemon Showdown ladder, I have the PokePaste and the rental code along with Eli's Twitter in the description below. If you appreciate these videos as a resource, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into the battles now. Our opponent has Landorus, Landorus, Chien-Pao, Fluttermane, Ogerpon, Metagross, and a Gouging Fire. Usually these are either Dragon Dance, Clear Amulet, or Safety Goggles plus Howl, and that makes a pretty big difference on how it plays. I think Eric Rios actually used a pretty similar team to this. I'm going to look that up real quick, just because, you know, on ladder, I don't think it's, you know, it's not necessarily a faux pod. It's just like, if it's a meta team, yeah, it is. This is the Eric Rios team. It is Safety Goggles, so Amoonguss way less effective here. Yeah, that's definitely potentially an issue for me, but I think Urshifu well positioned here overall, and I think I have the EVs for this team actually. But yeah, I'm not going to go for that right away. I think that might be a little cheesy. We will avoid doing that. Okay. I kind of like these guys a fair bit. Fluttermane back is kind of appealing, and I think I will go with Pelipper or Amoonguss. I think I'll go Amoonguss actually. Oh, no. I actually want No idea what Pokemon we're going to get selected there. Yeah, that was some bad indecision. So that's the disadvantage of, if you're actually seriously laddering, I definitely recommend having a list of common rental teams up so you can quickly look at the EVs, the Terra types, but I don't have it up right now, so I was trying to search for it and definitely lost a bit of time, and we're going to see what we actually ended up leaving. It is Archaludon, Amoonguss, so we just have the top 4, I think, Pokemon. Alright, that's not the end of the world, though. That's definitely pretty decent. They are Stomping Tantrum on this guy, so gotta be wary of that, but I don't think it's that bad. I like just switching out, honestly, directly into this. I'm just going to Electro Shot, get some damage off, I think. They can't protect the Metagross, so I guess we always get the Electro Shot off no matter what. So I think I will go for that. The damage is pretty important into this guy, rather, so I'm just going to go Pelipper. They're Terra Dragons, so our ways to beat them or damage them are a little bit limited outside of the Archaludon. Maybe could have been valuable to go for a Rage Powder as they go for the Psychic type move most likely into my Pelipper, but not what I went for. They do follow me anyway, so the targeting is not going to matter. I valued the boost more than just like a stamina or like the HP on my Archaludon, which is maybe a mistake here, but we are going to hit the Electro Shot into the Ogerpon for probably a 2-hit KO. Yeah, well, more than that actually. Very nice. They do Psychic Fangs, which chips me into range for a knockout most likely, but I think I'm fine with that. I can Electro Shot again, which I'm tempted to do. I could also protect. Horn Leech is just like such an easy play for them, or Ivy Cudgel, which is what's annoying me. I doubt they double up into me. I kind of want to hit the Metagross a fair bit. They could protect the Ogerpon. If they do, I think they won't be able to 2-hit KO me. With Stomping Tantrum after the stamina drop, they are going into the Ogerpon. They're switching out the Ogerpon into the Flutter Mane. That's fine by me, actually. Oh, that will resist the Electro Shot. Fair enough. And be immune to Safety Goggles and set them up with a Howl. So, fair enough. We are charging up the Electro Shots a fair bit. I wish I had knocked into the Metagross though. That was guaranteed damage. That was a bit of a mistake on my part. It makes this turn way easier if I go for that. This will do a chunk. I'm basically ignoring the type chart at this point, and yeah, that's actually great damage. Oh, they Psychic Fangs again. Really smart play. But we are going to activate our Berry, which is cool. Howl, Breaking Swipe, I believe, is their set. I think I'm just going to go Electro Shot, Protect here. I could Spore. I think it's a bit aggressive. I don't think Howl Stomp is going to be knocking me out, though. And if they try it, they're not going to do that much damage. And then I'll put them asleep. Am I okay with that? I think so. I can guarantee they don't hit my Archaludon this turn, which is pretty valuable, though. I think I will preserve that instead of getting greedy with a Spore. They have to Heat Crash and knock me out, which they could do, but then they're, whatever. I'm hitting them with an Electro Shot, which I think is fair. Yeah, they don't even knock out in the rain, which is the value of the max defense Amoonguss. Otherwise, that would have been a pretty easy knockout for them if I'm not very close to max special or max bulk. But this is a great example of the Electro Shot Archaludon. I've just been hitting it every turn and getting stronger and stronger. Now I'm even 2-hit KOing the Metagross. And they doubled into the Amoonguss. This is really good for me. Because now what I'm threatening is switch right into the Urshifu. I'm pretty sure close combat will knock out their Metagross pretty easily. They'd have to switch into their Flutter Mane, which fair enough, they could do. Surging Strikes probably does not knock them out. But I think U-turn... I'm not sure how to play this. I think even if they Terra, Electro Shot should knock them out, I believe. I'm just having trouble deciding this play. I think I'm going to Electro Shot you and go for a close combat into you. I think the Ogerpon might be switching here. They don't, though. That's annoying. And they also Terrastalize most likely the Metagross. I think Electro Shot should knock them out, though. Yeah, they are going for the Terra Dragon. I could have Dragon Pulsed. I think at this point, Dragon Pulse would have gotten pretty close to a KO, but they are burning Bulwarking, but close combat should just go through that. I'm not sure on this interaction. I don't believe they'll burn me, but I'm not certain about it. We don't knock them out. Surging Strikes would have been a knockout, though. We're very reliant on Electro Shot KOing here, though, for sure. So we charge up. Let's see if the bridge can take the knockout here. Probably going to decide the game, but yeah, I should have close combated that guy. Just a mistake on my part. Oh, they do live. That's really bad. So they get the Psychic Fangs off. We haven't burned our Terra, but we're going to lose Rain in a turn, which is really bad. Yeah, I could have taken a knockout, but it is what it is. Close combat. I imagine... Yikes, man. Okay. Probably just go for one more Electro Shot. What's the accuracy on this move? 100? Yeah. I definitely just go Electro Shot and Tailwind, I think. But that was bad. I should have close combated in the Metagross. Definitely let this game get away from me. They Bullet Punch. I think with Heat Crash, they will knock me out here. Breaking Swipe. Yeah, that probably gets me. Oh, that's huge. Okay. Yeah, we went Electro Shot here, and we're getting the stamina boost, yeah. At this point, their... Oh my goodness, their Raging Bolt is not... Or their Gouging Fire is way less effective. Because the... Yeah, I think Heat Crash is still pretty effective against Archaludon, but let me confirm. We're going to take out the Metagross finally. Yeah, Heat Crash is actually a 120 base power move against Archaludon, but we are +1 defense, so they'll still be doing a fair chunk, like close to 30% of our HP, but they are so low. We're going to have the Tailwind up. Yeah, surviving there was so huge, though. They don't look to have priority on their team, but I will have to hit a Hurricane, most likely. Yeah, 117. I am going to probably have to hit the Hurricane, which is, of course, tragic, but it is what it is. Between the two, I'm definitely going after the... Like, if they don't follow me, I'm obviously attacking into the... Yeah, they're probably going to double protect to try and stall out Tailwind, which is fair. But they don't. They actually let the... Okay, so what they're probably trying to do is set up for like a Flutter main back, I have to guess. I still have my Terra, which is super valuable. I mean, not that valuable, I think, but... Should I have used my Terra on anything else earlier in the battle? I guess I could have on the Amoonguss. It would have been... Yeah, okay, Flutter main last. I have Assault Vest, so they're probably going to have to lock into... I mean, if I hit the Hurricane, I do just win. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go for the Hurricane. It is Specs on this team. They probably have to lock... Dazzling Gleam, I have to guess. They've already used their Terra. Do I think a Moonblast knocks me out? No, I really don't. So I think what I'm actually going to do is go for a Dragon Pulse and a Wide Guard. And this might look a little weird, but unless they crit me with Moonblast, my only way to lose this game is if I miss the Hurricane and go for Heavy Slam, and then it does not knock out the Ogerpon, because I have one more turn of Tailwind, and I know their choice specs if this is the same rental code that we've been expecting it to be, Eric Rios' team, which I actually have featured on the channel on another capacity. Yeah, with the Assault Vest and the bulk, we do survive that easily. With the last turn of Tailwind, we should just win. I guess I'll go for Terra Flying on the chance this doesn't knock out, but I really do think it should. Let's just confirm we're entering the right moves. This was a pretty hard fought battle, but yeah, I definitely made it a lot harder by not close combating the Metagross, but I had a suspicion they might switch in the Flutter main on that slot, but I guess no real reason to. I probably should have just Surging Striked that turn or close combated the Metagross. Made it a little hard on myself, but now I think we should have the game locked with Heavy Slam, Hurricane, unless they are Focus Sash for some reason. If we were loading up on a Hurricane for the previous turn, we were going to miss it anyway, so... Oh, okay. They lowered my attack, and then I missed the Hurricane. Okay, that is super unfortunate. I needed to hit the Hurricane anyways, so I just misplayed that. Lovely. All right, GG. Yeah, I totally forgot about the Burning Bulwark. Basically, yeah. So it did come down to missing the Hurricane anyways. I guess looking back then, really good game to my opponent, really fun. Super close. We are going to lose off that. So I think I'm actually happy with how I played that end game. I definitely forgot that Heavy Slam can, like I got dropped by the Burning Bulwark. I think on Electro Shot like this, I would probably lean towards going Flash Cannon for exactly this sort of situation. You appreciate that like +5 stab instead of having to go for a -1 Heavy Slam, which can be incurred by an Intimidate or anything else like that. But overall, I think I'm happy with the end game. The only, like my main issue is how I played the Amoonguss. Probably I could have been a bit more aggressive with my Protects in the face of them. Maybe could have gone for my Terra since it didn't end up being super valuable. And then the close combat into the Metagross turn, I think I could have maybe gone for a close combat into Metagross and then doubled into it with like Heavy Slam or Electro Shot or something like that instead of just going for the Electro Shot and getting punished for it. So overall, you know, didn't come out up top, but felt like the game was played pretty well, and we really did get to show off the value of the Archaludon's Electro Shot that game. So a loss, but one that I was pretty happy about. Pretty fun game. Whoa, that is quite the team from my opponent. So they have the Iron Crown, the Expanding Force Iron Crown, presumably. Latias, Okidogi, the Indeedee, Umbreon, and Clodsire. Clodsire can be a pretty difficult Pokemon for Urshifu to deal with if it is Water Absorb, which it usually will be, so I have to watch out for that. I think Terra Dark Amoonguss is actually quite strong against everything on their team except for Okidogi, so gotta watch out for that, but I don't really expect that to be a huge issue. I think I could get the bridge going pretty quickly, honestly. I don't think this guy's particularly strong. Could make an argument for Flutter Mane, but I think it's a little weak to Iron Crown, especially early game when they still have redirection. So maybe what I'm going to try and do is... I could see myself committing to the Terra just very early on Amoonguss, so I might go for that. I like Urshifu, but I want to maybe pivot into something else pretty quickly. I like Urshifu's U-turn on lead. I think the bridge is solid, and I think Pelipper to set up the bridge with the Electro Shots is valuable. I guess Clodsire could be kind of a problem for the bridge, though. Archaludon, as well as Pelipper. I have to go for Hurricanes. It's a pretty bulky Pokemon. So, I don't know. Of all the Pokemon to be playing this session, I did not expect to be Clodsire, like, to be one of the scarier ones, but defensively it does just have what it needs to deal with Urshifu quite well. But if I can get a few Electro Shots up, then I should be kind of chilling. They go Iron Crown, Okidogi. Interesting. That's fine. Booster energy. Speed would be cool. Speed, okay. That complicates things a fair bit. I can't even Terra Poison out of that, so... what I want to do is... I feel like the odds of them going for a play like that, like a fighting type move into the Amoonguss, is very low, but it's not zero. The speed boost is a problem. They could... I really do expect them to just like switch out here, so I'm going to go Terra... I'm just going to like switch out immediately, I think. Go for my Terra Poison. They are not switching out anything, which would be anything before my Urshifu, but I would expect it to be the Okidogi switching out. Hopefully they're not Goggles on that, but they are switching it out. I think Goggles Indeedee could actually set me back a fair bit here, because then they would be able to basically just wall out my Amoonguss here, and I wouldn't get a lot of value out of this Terra. Okay, they are Psychic Seed though, so that's good. That's very, very good. They are going for a Terra though. Could be Terra Poison, that's kind of, or a Terra Psychic. That's what I would expect most likely. They are Terra Psychic, so this Expanding Force is going to do a lot to my Archaludon. Not sure if it'll 2-hit KO, but might get close. There we go. We are getting the Terra Dark off because, yeah, we really do need it against these sort of teams, having the option to wall out these expanding forces, because obviously Urshifu Amoonguss otherwise would have been a pretty bad lead against this. Yep, there is the expanding force, which we'll see how much this does. Given its only booster speed, I doubt it 2-hit KOs, but... Oh yeah, that actually does nothing. Cool. We get the stamina boost, so that's pretty high value against the potential Ogidogi in the back. I think I'm going to Spore Dragon Pulse. Let me see my speed stat. I don't think I'll actually be able to handle the Ogidogi quickly, but I could do it with Pelipper, honestly. I do like Pelipper as a switch in a fair bit. Although I am dropping the stamina boost, I don't think that's hugely impactful. Like, I'm not going for body press against the Ogidogi, and I would just like to get this Pelipper on the field. If they want to sacrifice, like if they want to break my Focus Sash, they have to let their let this guy fall asleep, which I think is fine, because then I'll be able to go for a Hurricane the next turn onto the Ogidogi when that comes in. I doubt it'll... Oh, Latias is interesting. Wonder if you're Taunt or something like that. Focus Blast. Okay, rolling the dice. And it doesn't knock out, so that's good. Kind of an interesting bring on the Latias, though. I wouldn't have expected that. I wonder if it's Goggles Latias based on that. I wouldn't be sporing that slot again, but that's kind of interesting that they brought that. Could be a Draco. Yeah, that's really interesting. I might try and preserve this Amoonguss now and switch into the Archaludon and go for probably a Tailwind. Maybe I should try and get some damage into this, though. I think that makes sense. Yeah, Weather Ball going to be hitting stronger than Hurricane in this instance. I think I will go for that. There's a lot of switching this battle, but I think that is necessary when you're battling in these terrain wars. Like, they're going to be switching a lot, so you kind of have to be on proactive in making sure they don't get the drop on you. So we switched in the Archaludon. I could be taking a Draco or something here, which would be annoying. Yeah, okay. Rather the Archaludon takes that than the Roaring Moon, though, I think. Or the Amoonguss. Sorry, not the Amoonguss, the Urshifu, because I don't want to take that. Okay, we are 2-hit KOing that, which is really good. I kind of want to go Electro Shot Tailwind here. Feels pretty solid. Feels pretty good. I think they have to hit a Focus Blast to deal with my Archaludon and wake up. So getting the full value out of our Assault Vest and defensive investments, they do stay asleep. So unless they crit this Draco Meteor, we should be getting the Electro Shot off. Nice, they're doing pretty minimal damage and will be primed to knock out their Latias with the Electro Shot next turn, I imagine. I think Electro Shot is 100% accurate, but it could be 90. I'm not certain about it. We are going to charge up this turn, get that special attack boost, and hit with the full power in the rain. Nice. So that's good. We were able to deal with the the Iron Crown without it really dealing that much. Oh my goodness, the head just spinning slowly as it gets knocked out while it's asleep is very funny. And that's amazing. I hadn't noticed that animation. I wonder if that's the case for the other past Paradox Pokemon. Okay. So Ogidogi comes out. We have +1 special attack. A couple more turns of rain. I think the goal should probably be to hit the Latias here. It's kind of an interesting play, but I think I will be splitting my damage here instead of going for a knockout into either. Because if Ogidogi has Protect, I could go down pretty substantially, but okay, yeah, we just knocked them out in one hit. Off of a critical hit, they usually are Assault Vest, I'd say, the Ogidogi. But, I mean, I was going to outspeed both Pokemon and get attacks off. I think I was mainly just priming my Urshifu to take knockouts with Surging Strike against either in the late game. They were going to get Tailwind up, but I think with the amount of speed, or the remaining turns, the ability to bring in Amoonguss at any time and not take any Psychic type attacks anymore. Like, they did bring 3 Psychic type Pokemon, so the Terra Dark was just like very effective, and their remaining Pokemon is asleep. I do feel pretty solid about being able to close this game out pretty easily. Just gonna Dragon Pulse the Latias and go for a Weather Ball into this. Oops, yeah. Making sure my targeting's right. I do just go for a Dragon Pulse into the Latias. They could get a critical hit. Maybe I should have Hurricane the Latias, I suppose, but they are going for Recover. I don't know which is more optimal, Roost or Recover. So just so you know, if someone has a Roost Latias, they are not trolling. If you go for Roost, it doesn't get rid of Levitate, it only gets rid of the Flying type. So if they were like going for, if a Pokemon, if you got rid of their Levitate and they were a Flying type and they roosted, you'd be able to hit them, but it really is just the Levitate. So you're really not getting the drop on anyone. We're just going to go for the normal base power Weather Ball, I suppose. Yeah, they do cancel out. Looking at that game plan, I think obviously the Terra Dark attack on the Amoonguss came in very clutch. We got a Surprise Spore onto the Indeedee. I think on that turn, what I might... Like in future battles, what I would probably have done instead of sporing the Indeedee switch in is spore into the Iron Crown that turn. They're in such a dominant position, they're very unlikely to play that turn defensively and protect. So what could have gone wrong is actually, well, 2 things could have gone wrong. I could have spored into the Indeedee and it was Safety Goggles, at which point they just follow me the rest of the game and I can't do anything to their Iron Crown. Or they go, they fall asleep and then they Focus Blast crit my Amoonguss, which is like devastating because then I don't have the damage I need into the Iron Crown. I don't have the turns to get the damage in the Iron Crown by putting it to sleep, rather. So, yeah, small misplay there. Doesn't come back to bite us because we don't roll into Safety Goggles in DD or get crit by the Focus Blast, but definitely a small optimization on an overall pretty solid game plan. All right, our opponent has the priority spam team that won the Portland Regional Championships, Alex Underhill's team. How did they fare against the bridge? So Sacred Sword's pretty strong against the bridge just because they can poke through any of the stamina boost that I get, so that's important. They can also snarl me, which is quite annoying. They're a booster... I do have to be worried about a couple things, and mainly the Dragonite, but I think I could get some leeway with Icy Wind plus... Like Icy Wind, Flutter seems like a decent bring for me here. Maybe a bit aggressive, but something I could go. I think Urshifu plus Flutter feels like a cool lead for me. Like, it feels pretty solid. I think Pelipper is kind of weak into the Raging Bolt. They are Safety Goggles Raging Bolt, I believe, so I can't actually redirect attention away from that. I think I'm going to go with Baxalibur in the back, and then... Amoonguss is interesting. Yeah, the Sacred Sword Chinpow is really giving me a lot of issues here, I'd imagine. Yeah, that could be tough to deal with. I think I do need my own switch into their Flutter main, though, so I'm going to go Amoonguss, as well as having a Pokemon that can switch into Ogerpon's attacks, although I can't do much back. Yeah. Like, figuring out how to position the Archaludon in this matchup was probably pretty important, but I think they have a lot of tools that can stop me from dealing with that, but they might not even bring them. They go Entei Ogerpon, which is a pretty non-committal lead from them. Definitely respect that. So, this is the age-old call. I could just go for Surging Strikes in the Entei, but they could Terra or they could... cover that. But I do think Baxalibur is quite well positioned here. Like, I think Protect is pretty safe on my end, and a U-turn is pretty good onto the Ogerpon. I could, of course, Surging Strike the Entei. It'd be really aggressive, but could pay off pretty substantially. But I don't think the Entei is threatening me that much, and if they don't Terra their Ogerpon, which they don't do, I am poised to knock that out in the next turn. They did leave the Entei open, as they always do, but didn't punish it. Good on them. I think I can sneak an attack boost this turn, though, if they Sacred Sword into my Baxalibur. And a Horn Leech is going to do negligible damage to Bax, too. So they Ivy Cudgel into the Flutter and go for Sacred Fire into the Flutter as well. So we do cover that well. I can Icy Wind and go for big damage into either Pokemon here. They are really targeting down this Flutter, which makes me almost certain they have a they have Dragonite in the back. The only question is who else they have. Dragonite in the back. Dragonite Raging Bolt would be my expectation, so I should just go Urshifu here, I think. Yeah, I'm going to preserve this Flutter Mane, I think. Yeah, I like that. I like switching out into Urshifu and going for a... I'm going to Ice Skull Crash into the Ogerpon, because I don't want to take any damage from a Spiky Shield, which might come out. I could have Glaive Rushed the Entei for sure, but I didn't feel so confident about that. They're Spiky Shielding though. They're probably going to Sacred Fire burn me, but it is what it is. Yep, they are moving first. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So they give me the Thermal Exchange, which totally good with. And I Ice Skull Crash there. They can't knock me out. I think I'm well positioned to actually go for a close combat. I think I'm going to close combat here. It is stronger than U-turn, and I do expect them to maybe go for a Terastallization. One thing they could do is switch into Flutter Mane, which would be a fair play, but I think... what would I do about that if they do that? Probably be in some trouble, honestly. That'd be a good play, but at the end of the day, I think it's fine. I think I'm going to go for Close Combat Glaive Rush into the Entei. They're going for Follow Me, so we're going to... Wow, they would have let me U-turn. Interesting. I think that's fine, though. Like, if I trade my Urshifu getting burned, I think that's fine. As long as Baxalibur gets this Glaive Rush off, we should be good against the Entei. Most likely. They are going for Sacred Fire into the Baxalibur. We are going to be +2. So that is the advantage of the Baxalibur. It looks like it is EV to tank that very specifically. So we do knock out the Entei in one hit with the Glaive Rush, and we don't have to face the consequences of our drop to our defenses. Well, not our defenses, but we would otherwise take double damage this turn. So it is Raging Bolt in the back, along with Chen Pao. Okay. I was really expecting it to be a Dragonite in the back, the way they aggressively targeted the Flutter Mane, but I think this is like, you know, more or less the same thing. I could always close combat Raging Bolt this turn and protect, and they don't have a lot of counterplay. Like, they can't stop that play. But I'm wondering if that's what I should be going for. Like, it's probably Sucker Punch into Baxalibur, I'd have to imagine. I think I should be outspeeding Raging Bolt. So I think I'm actually going to take the close combat into Raging Bolt just because... Oh wait, no, I'm silly. They can always Thunderclap me. Yeah, that was... I forgot literally what this Pokemon always does. They're going Terra Water, so I couldn't Ice Shard them, which is cool. Does this affect much? I think I should still 1v1 it with Flutter Mane, most likely. But I probably should have close combated Chen Pao. Oh, they let me get that off. Interesting. That's a ton of damage. No doubt about that. And they probably just knocked me out now. They should have Thunderclap there, but they expected me to switch. Fair enough. But given I know their safety goggles, I don't really have to drive towards a specific endgame like that. Okay, Thunderbolt, fair enough. And at this point, I think we should just bring out the Flutter Mane. And let me confirm, actually, Alex was not Jolly Chen Pao. I believe... Actually, I'm almost certain it was Adamant Chen Pao, but let me confirm that, actually. I don't want to lose this off of a silly play. Let me grab that paste, Alex. It is a Jolly one. Okay, so they could actually beat me off that, potentially, right? Interesting. I think I kind of have to Moonblast the Raging Bolt and... Weird endgame, I think, actually. I don't go for the Terra. Oh, okay. And they doubled up into me. Yikes. Okay, that's pretty bad. Okay, I didn't go Terra Fairy there. Should I have? Maybe. So I'm pretty sure I will outspeed their... Yikes, okay. Amoonguss Chenpao, Amoonguss low HP backs against the world is kind of tough here. I'm pretty sure there's safety goggles on that guy. I think if I can just land a hit into the Chenpao, we're good though. So I think I'm gonna go... Do I need to Terra yet? No, I don't think so. I think I probably should though. Terra Water is an issue, otherwise I'd be able to Ice Shard and probably knock them out at +2, but now they can Thunderclap around. And I'm doing all this because I'm pretty sure there's safety goggles on the on this one. Oh, 156 speed, that's really quick, actually. Am I faster than you? That is really fast. Okay. I am 108 speed Baxalibur. And Raging Bolt is 75. I think I should outspeed still. They're protecting Chenpao, which is smart. Now, if they read me in Thunderbolt, really well played, but I doubt it. I think this is fine though. Yeah, they Thunderclap into the backs. As I protected, and we Pollen Puff, which fails. So this is bad because they can go for Thunderbolt instead of the other option. But I think I should be able to Rage Powder Ice Shard, and if they don't get a double protect, I win. Is that necessary though? Probably is. I don't think I can afford to... Well, can I take a Sucker Punch here? On Baxalibur, definitely not, but can I... I mean, they can always double attack into me. I think I should just go Ice Shard, Rage Powder. So let me confirm that. I think we've given ourselves close to a... Actually, no, Draco's probably going to clear me out here, huh? Yeah, I think this is kind of a read on whether they Thunderclap me or no, but going for a Terra Dark ended up being a mistake here, I think. Do get the Ice Shard here. If they Thunderclap, we lose. They didn't go for Sucker Punch, which is smart, but I think Pollen Puff might... Oh, they did Thunderclap, so they didn't expect me to play around the safety goggles, but I did. So at this point, we do win with Ice Shard plus Pollen Puff. I'm curious how much this does. Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have gotten really close to a knockout, but not quite. They do finally Thunderbolt. But yeah, really close game. I think on the turn that I mean, what I was worried about more so than the Sucker Punch was a Ice Spinner. Because on this team it is Jolly Chenpao, so they should be outspeeding me, but they went for Sucker Punch instead of Ice Spinner, which I think was maybe a slight mistake on their part, but I could have punched it by going Terra Fairy. Did not, and ultimately made that game really difficult for myself. But the Baxalibur obviously came in so clutch, stayed on the turn, took out the Entei, took out the Chenpao, and then finally chipped down the Raging Bolt, so I didn't have to worry about like a Draco crit on the Raging Bolt. So awesome game for the Baxalibur, really glad to have shown that off here. I don't know, the Archaludon in theory is really good, like Electro Shot obviously into the Electric type of the Raging Bolt if it Terras, and then Dragon Pulse if it doesn't, but I think it's hard to position it, so I feel like they maybe gave me a little more leeway than they should have, especially on the Urshifu turn. Getting that close combat off was like really the damage I needed to win the game, but I feel like the switch was so obvious that they gave me a little bit too much credit there. I think that definitely is not a solved matchup and probably not even a favorable one, but we're able to take that with some, I would say, lucky play. Didn't really feel like I outplayed them that well, was just getting some solid, playing the turns correctly, but it easily could have gone a different direction if like they make a single different play. So Not too confident in how that game plan is supposed to be played, and would probably, if I was playing this team at a tournament, try and figure that out a little more in a thought out way. Wow, interesting team. They have a Thunderous, Ogerpon-Wellspring form, Incineroar, Zapdos Galarian form, and in the Flutter main and the Tinglu. Haven't seen Tinglu in a while now. All right. So the Thunderous is definitely a concern to me. Figuring out if it's a Wild Bolt Storm, like there's a lot about that Thunderous that could be really tricky to deal with. I could go Terra Dark and immediately start putting things to sleep without getting taunted on Amoonguss. That's the secondary value of the Terra Dark type, basically. Let's think though. I think Baxalibur is actually well positioned against a lot of their team, so I think I will lead with that. I could see Urshifu being pretty cool, maybe even baiting some things from them, but I like Amoonguss defensively a fair bit. Not sure about the bridge. The bridge actually walls a fair bit of their team. But Tinglu could be annoying, definitely. Huh. I think I'm going to bring Amoonguss lead, Baxalibur, and then Urshifu could clean up pretty effectively. And then last Pokemon I will go with is the... I'm going Pelipper, but I think there could have been an argument for Archaludon or Flutter main. Like, I think in a best of 3, I probably get Archaludon in at some point, but my worry was the Tinglu would be a little bit annoying. Whereas I should be able to beat Tinglu with the Pelipper for the most part. Unless they're like Throat Chop or something. A lot of the time they're Ruination. I guess Stone Edge too, but yeah, we'll see what they go for. They lead Tinglu plus the Galarian Zapdos. Fair enough. I don't obviously can't intimidate them, but I do think I'm going to go for a... Ooh, Terra Poison. They kind of have me locked on that. I think I'll just double protect here. See if they're going to Earthquake or something. And go from there. Cool shiny Galarian Zapdos, though. I do like how the Galarian shiny legendary birds are all basically just the Kantoian color spread, so I do like that. They're definitely... there's a lot they have to think about here. I could protect Amoonguss, which is pretty... Like, Rage Powder attack is pretty safe, but I kind of think they're forced to Terrastalize here to try to survive with either of these. They're actually Terrastalizing the Tinglu. Water-type Terra makes a lot of sense. I think that's definitely dangerous for me. Would have gotten a lot of mileage by going Ice Skull Crash Protect into the Zapdos, most likely, but impossible to know that. I think they easily could have gone for a Terra on their Zapdos as well. They are Brave Birding into my Amoonguss there, which is fine. They're Earthquaking themselves. Okay, so Terra Poison would be pretty sketch for me. I wonder if they're going to read my Amoonguss switch in. That would make sense. I wonder if I just sack my Amoonguss here. Beating the Tinglu could be annoying, but on the same... Like, on the other hand, they're still not doing a lot of damage to me, so I'm not sure if I have to worry about that much. Could Ice Skull Crash, or I could Glaive Rush here. I think Flutter main is a reasonable switch in. Incineroar is probably not that likely, given I think they want to go for a... I feel like they could either protect the Zapdos or switch it into Flutter main here, but I don't think they would Earthquake. Switch into Incineroar. Oh, Coaching. Okay. That's really cool. So if they're Choice Band Tinglu, they could do a lot of damage. Yikes. I think I should still have a knockout into the Zapdos with Ice Skull Crash plus Ice Shard. Ooh, that's actually really ideal that we didn't knock out. They go for Heavy Slam. Does a ton, but not a 2-hit KO. And I am very alright with this turn because now I have Ice Shard plus Spore locked up. Stomping Tantrum, I shouldn't. I think Heavy Slam was a 120 base power against Amoonguss, so Stomping Tantrum with the stab would be less than that. Ooh, Quick Guard, very cool. So full support Zapdos. I think that's fine though, because Spore should still deal with Tinglu. I think Heavy Slam was their strongest move. They're going for Earthquake, which is fine. They're going to do a lot of damage with this, no doubt. But we do survive on the Amoonguss and take our Citrus Berry, so that's all good. So we get that Spore up. Interesting. Interesting spot for sure. What I'm tempted to do is actually go Ice Shard, Pollen Puff myself. And I think I will go for that. Like, they have to go for another Quick Guard, or... yeah, they go for that, but I'm getting Pollen Puff up, so I think I'm happy with that trade. Maybe a bit greedy, but overall I think I'm fine with that. Heavy Slam, I don't think does a ton to Baxalibur, but it's like not, you know, it's real damage they're doing. Coaching is kind of annoying. They're defensively pretty well primed against me. I think I need the Amoonguss out here. So I think I'm going to go Ice Shard, switch to Pelipper. Maybe they're going to make a read here, but I don't want to get caught slipping, really. I think Amoonguss could be my out to beat this Tinglu. Because Surging Strikes is not going to be doing that much damage. Glaive Rush is really weakening me, and they finally do let up the Quick Guard as I switch out. Hopefully they stay asleep another turn, but I just really didn't want my Amoonguss to get knocked out by Earthquake there. They do stay asleep for, I believe, their second turn, I want to say. I think that, yeah, that was their second turn, so they can wake up this or the next turn. But we did manage to navigate outside of that lead by just giving them a +1/+1 boosts, which fair, I think. We'll see who they go out into. Oh, Thunderous, okay. I should just be able to Icicle Crash that pretty freely, and I don't want to get Wild Bolt Stormed, really. Wild Bolt Storm is annoying because they can just hit that with impunity. I could Wide Guard. That'd be pretty aggressive though. I think honestly I could beat this Tinglu with my Pelipper. So I think I'm just going to switch out into my Amoonguss here. Like, I was trying to preserve the Amoonguss the previous turn, but I think now it's like not that bad to just like preserve the Pelipper. Because I think with Terra Flying, I could actually endgame this Tinglu. Yeah, I could have gone for a Wide Guard there. They are going to paralyze my Baxalibur. That was the risk of switching out and not just Wide Guarding, but they could have also Thunder Waved. But now I am underspeeding Tinglu, which comes with its disadvantages. We do hit the Icicle Crash though. They probably couldn't protect Thunderous, and we do bring that very low down to Focus Sash, it looks like. I kind of just want to Ice Shard switch. Like, no reason to not just get some more HP on Amoonguss, in my opinion. I think. They could taunt me for sure. Actually, I should probably just protect. Heavy Slam is going to be pretty tight on knocking me out. This definitely risks a burn or something, or like a paralysis a bit more. Yeah, I think I should just protect the Amoonguss here. There's no real reason to like risk me getting paralyzed and losing my Pelipper all the way down to Focus Sash on a Wild Bolt Storm. They did go for Taunt, so would have been fine to switch in the Pelipper and maybe a bit more proactive. Yeah, we do get paralyzed, so. They are finally going to wake up, fortunately for them, and they go Earthquake, okay. So the paralysis after the Wild Bolt Storm paralysis is obviously just super unfortunate, but I could have Wide Guarded away to stop that, so it is what it is. We're going to Ice Shard again, and then I think switch to the Pelipper here this time. And depending on who they have in the back, we might be fine. I think I'd really badly I badly need to get not paralyzed here, though. They could Thunder Wave. I feel like Thundurus these days don't carry Thunder Wave that often anymore. They're usually like Taunt, Eerie Impulse. But I'm really hoping I can go for an Ice Shard on this Thundurus and they don't protect. They do have Thunder Wave, okay. So that's quite annoying. They got a lot more mileage out of this Thundurus than they probably should have if the odds work out in our favor, but we do finally knock it out. But this makes it a lot more difficult to deal with the Tinglu. I'll probably need Rain Up to beat it 1v1 if it's like Rocky Helmet or something. We'll see. I think at this point it's time to bring out the Urshifu. Yeah, that paralysis is actually super bad for me. Something the Sleepy, okay. Flutter Mane, let's hope they're not Booster Energy Speed. They are not. So we do have a knockout with the Surging Strikes, I'm pretty sure. And I think I will just go for a... I don't think I ever Terra Poison here on the... or Terra Dark. So I think I will just go Surging Strikes plus Terra... Hurricane? Should I Tailwind? Maybe. I don't... there's an interesting argument for Tailwind, actually. Because if they are... Yeah, interesting argument for Tailwind here. I think I will just go for the Hurricane. Like, I'll double up into the Flutter Mane just because I think I outspeed that unless they are Choice Scarfed. And I don't think they can survive this hit. Like, I am Adamant Urshifu, so I don't think there's an amount of EVs you can put in that to survive, but yeah, I think Surging Strikes locks up the Flutter Mane because they weren't Booster Energy Speed. Yeah, we do outspeed. Yeah, not taking that remotely well. We are going to hit with a very strong Hurricane. So I was thinking about setting up Tailwind because then I'd be able to always outspeed the Tinglu with my Amoonguss and Spore it before it could attack into my Pelipper or anything. They did have Stomping Tantrum, so glad I didn't go for Wide Guard, but yeah, we do unfortunately get paralyzed, which is fine, not the end of the world. Rain finally does end though. They could Earthquake reasonably. Deal a ton of damage to my Amoonguss. Can I beat this Tinglu with my Urshifu? Maybe? I think what I'm going to go for is actually just... How strong is Weather Ball? Only 50 base power. Unfortunate. I think I'll Tailwind here with the Pelipper, which I should have done last turn, it turns out, but you live and learn. Stomping Tantrum should not be able to knock out my Amoonguss, so if I hit this, that's good. They go Heavy Slam into Pelipper. I did give myself away not being able to go for that anymore, but we do get the... Or like, going for the Terra made it so that Heavy Slam could do a ton of damage, but I think that's fine. We can outspeed the Tinglu and now Spore it and switch out into Urshifu, reset the Rain once the Pelipper comes back in. But this is kind of like reminiscent of earlier formats like Regulation B and C when Tinglu was legal. I guess it was just Regulation C actually, where these really slow, these games always end up with just like Tinglu on the field, where it is definitely a threat, but not that big of a threat. I kind of just want to position the Amoonguss next to the Tinglu. So I am going to go... I could close combat here and switch. That's probably the best play, actually. I want to know if they're Rocky Helmet or not, though. I'm going to U-turn, switch to Pelipper. I want Rain back up, and I want to confirm whether they're Rocky Helmet before I go for this play. Because that could like very reasonably be their option here, and then I would just like really ruin my chances in this game a bit by going for the Surging Strikes. No Rocky Helmet, so if they take a KO this turn, that's fine. We'll be able to bring in the... well, first off, they'd have to wake up, but we'd be able to bring in the Amoonguss and the Urshifu at the same time. They do stay asleep though, which is good. I think I should have this with Hurricane. Like, they can never hit both of my Pokemon here. So we are, as long as we don't get paralyzed like several times in a row and we're unable to hit a Hurricane, we should have this, I think. We do hit though. We'll confirm. I think they're probably Assault Vest, but we still should be doing a chunk of damage to them. Yep. non-zero damage, and I think they're winding up to wake up now, pretty soon at least. Between Hurricane and Tailwind, I think in the long term, Hurricane is maybe better? I'm trying to think that out. I want to stay... I think with Surging Strikes I should just win regardless, like just spamming Spore. Yeah, they do wake up. They're outspeeding both of my Pokemon. They go for Stomping Tantrum, which will actually double in power and knock me out. I didn't actually remember they could have done that, so good on them. For identifying that they were asleep that previous turn, so they could have that double power Stomping Tantrum, but I think... No, yeah, they definitely could have won that, actually. So I maybe should have tried to play around that a bit better, but didn't, so it is what it is. I think now we can just go into the Urshifu. Their only way out would be like Sleep Talk Tinglu, but they do cancel out, yeah. Well played to them. The Tinglu is definitely very scary, especially after the coaching, but I think the rest of their Pokemon were kind of a bit ineffective, even getting some pretty fortunate luck. They didn't have quite the resources they need. But I do like the Galarian Zapdos coaching strategy. That was really cool. I didn't know it got that move. Quick Guard I kind of had in the peripheral of my brain from previous generations, but yeah, the coaching was definitely really dangerous on a Pokemon that bulky. If they'd have been Rocky Helmet, I think I could have accelerated that game a bit more by going for the Surging Strikes, but I just really didn't want them to be Rocky Helmet, because then close combat would have been a better lock for me instead of the Surging Strikes. So overall, that was kind of an unfamiliar team I was playing up against, but I think positioning the Baxalibur, that was a good ID. Just seeing, okay, they don't have a lot of options to deal with this Baxalibur, and unfortunately I did let it get paralyzed, but I Pollen Puffed it when I needed to. I got it back up to good HP where it could knock out what it needed to, and then close the battle with the remaining Pokemon against the Tinglu. Especially Amoonguss putting in a lot of work to limit the value of the coached up Tinglu there. So Amoonguss, obviously, always great in rain for dealing with problem threats like just like annoying bulky waters, which the Tinglu ended up being. So that will do it for our battles featuring the Bridgerton Archaludon Rain team that was able to get 15th place at the Portland Regionals, a really impressive finish for Rain. The Baxalibur and the Archaludon really did impress me on this team. Obviously, you're expecting the Urshifu and the Flutter to carry, but of course, those double dragons were like pretty strong. Definitely have a lot of force in the metagame. The coverage is really good across both of them, so definitely something to look at in future Rain teams is these combination of Pokemon. So if you want to try the team for yourself, as always, the rental code and the PokePaste are in the description below. If you want to check out the team creator, Eli Knowlton, look it up. Not literally look it up, but his username is Look It Up, and I have the Twitter link in the description, so you don't have to look it up. If you enjoyed the videos, the battles, the breakdowns, as well as the resource of the teams, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like and a comment what you thought of the battles and just the team in general. And yeah, with all that being said, peace y'all.